A very good evening, everyone. On behalf of the NSS unit of KPB Hinduja College of Commerce, I, Khushi Motwani, welcome our respected principal, vice principal, district coordinator, our program officers, teaching and non-teaching staff, and all NSS volunteers for today's district level webinar on social media and information disorder. There's a need of such session as there's been tremendous expansion of false information on the internet in the past few years. And this webinar has been organized since young college students are often active users of social media. Efforts need to be made to make them vigilant citizens who can recognize false information on the internet and build awareness to prevent its spread. Now, I would like to request our NSS Program Officer, Professor Shehnaz Naskani, to address the crowd.
Thank you, Kushi. Good evening, respected Ms. Kranti UK ma'am, our guest of honor for this webinar, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, and all my dear students. At the outset, I welcome you to all this at this district level webinar, and Gayatri ma'am will be able to join us within some time. She'll be able to unmute and speak. So at the outset, I welcome you all for this webinar. In the today's digital era, we face the challenge of an overabundance of information. Some of this information may be false or potentially harmful. Inaccurate information spreads widely and at speed, making it more difficult for the public to identify facts. I'm very sure the knowledge imparted by our esteemed speaker in today's webinar will help all of us to use social media responsibly and stop the spread of false information. Thank you so much, Romani ma'am, for accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time. Over to you, Khushi.
Thank you so much, Shehnaz ma'am, for such kind words. Now, I would like to request our other NSS Program Officer, Dr. Gayatri Agrawal ma'am, to say a few words. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, first of all, I highly apologize to everyone for the delay in starting this session. But a really very good evening and warm welcome to our renowned guest of honor, Professor Kranti UK Madam from Lala Lajpat Rai College, our esteemed speaker of this webinar, Dr. Romani Madam, teaching, non-teaching staff, and all my dear volunteers from various colleges across Mumbai city to this district level webinar. I, on behalf of everyone present here, heartily welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Ms. Kranti UK Madam, Mumbai City District Coordinator. I'm extremely thankful to her for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion despite her busy schedule. It is our very pleasure and honor to have such a great personality within us who is the recipient of various awards in social service. I also take this opportunity to welcome our esteemed speaker of the session, Dr. Romani Sen Chetak, who will share her profound knowledge on social media and disinformation and will create an awareness to enable youth to recognize such information and helping in reducing the menace of fake news and disinformation. I'm looking forward, and we all are very much looking forward for insightful and enlightening session. Welcome everyone over here.
Thank you so much, Gayatri ma'am, for such kind words. Moving on, I would like to take a moment and tell you all a little bit about our NSS Mumbai City District Coordinator, Ms. Kranti UK. She is an assistant professor at Lala Lajpat Rai College of Commerce and Economics. Under her guidance, the NSS unit and volunteers have achieved many awards, like Times of India Green Ganesha Award, Best Road Safety Club Award, and many more. And a few of her recent achievements are: she received district level Best Program Officer in the year 2021. Her unit was awarded as district level Best NSS unit in the same year. She was also awarded as university level Best Area Coordinator in the year 2021. With this, I would like to request our guest of honor, Ms. Kranti UK, to say a few words. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Khushi. Respected Principal, Madam Dr. Meenu Madlani, resource person for today's webinar, Dr. Romani Sen Chetak, program officers, Dr. Gayatri Agarwal and Ms. Shehnaz Naskani, and all my dear NSS volunteers from across Mumbai district, a very warm good evening to everyone. It really gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this district level program on social media and disinformation, how to stop the spread of false information online. I wish to congratulate the whole team of NSS team of KPB Hinduja College for taking up this initiative in organizing this district level webinar on such an important and useful topic related to disinformation on social media. Friends, way back in the year 1926, Nikola Tesla had stated that wireless technology will be so developed and the present day telephone will become so simple and smart that man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. And today we can witness that that his prediction was so apt and so correct. We do carry an amazingly smart and amazingly simple instrument in our pockets, which we call as mobile phones or smartphones. And with a smartphone comes social media. Social media has had a dramatic impact on the ways we interact with one another. All the social media platforms have connected us to one another in a new and impactful ways. Also, stories and opinions can gain exposure with unprecedented speed. But unfortunately, there is a dark side to social media, and that is disinformation or false information. And we need to really create an awareness amongst the youth about the same. I hope today's session would definitely give a comprehensive insight into the topic and also would enable the volunteers to identify the disinformation spreading on the social media and give us some tools to address this important issue. Looking forward to an enlightening and insightful session by our esteemed speaker, Dr. Romani ma'am. Thank you for having me here today, and now over to the organizers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such inspiring words. It is with great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker for today's district level webinar, Dr. Romani Senshatak. She's an assistant professor of BAMMC at KPB Hinduja College of Commerce. She's also a university level research guide for PhD in the subject of communication, media, and journalism. She has a teaching experience of 9 years and has also been awarded the Certificate of Excellence in Reviewing in 2020 by the Asian Research Journal of Arts and Social Sciences. With this, I would like to welcome our esteemed speaker for today's webinar to address the crowd. Over to you, Romani ma'am.
Thank you so much, dear student. Thank you, Kanti UK madam. Thank you, NSS unit of KPB Hinduja College of Commerce for inviting me for this session. And without further ado, I would like to start. So we're talking about a topic which is personally very close to my heart, because also I'm a media teacher, and I think this is something that that is, we are witnessing every day. It's not something which we are not aware of. It's not that we don't know that this is happening or this is something new for us, but this is a topic where I personally feel that there's a lot of need to build awareness, and this session is perhaps a small effort in building that kind of awareness in society. So we are talking about, can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So yeah, just give me a moment. I have logged in with both my phone and laptop because there was some issue with the laptop speaker. So I may be looking at the laptop. So please don't feel that it is disoriented. So, so let's start. So we're talking about social media and disinformation, and most importantly, how to stop this problem, how to stop this spread, how to become active citizens so that we can at least help in reducing the menace of disinformation and misinformation. I think an introduction of mine has already been given, so I think let's not waste time on that. Now, I want to start with a quote, which is by an American diplomat, and he said that everyone is entitled to his own opinion, but not to his own facts. The facts will remain facts. To give you an example, if yesterday Mumbai reported, let's say, 20,000 something cases of COVID-19, now that is a piece of fact. I may say that, oh, there are such huge increase in the number of cases. So that's my opinion. Somebody may say it's a marginal increase. परसों तो सिर्फ 19,000 ही आए थे, अब 20,000 आ गए, so it's a marginal increase. Now that could be an an opinion that whether it is too high or too low, but the fact will not change. The fact will not change that yesterday officially we reported more than 20,000 numbers of 20,000 new cases of COVID-19. So that's very important for us to know that while our opinion may vary, I may say that Shanaz ma'am has a different opinion than me, or Gayatri ma'am, or Kanti ma'am has a different opinion, but the facts will not change. That's very important to understand. So what is this problem of disinformation? What exactly are we talking about? Now, disinformation is actually part of a bigger problem called information disorder. I mean, if some of you are from media department may know that this is something that we study, information disorder. So what is information disorder? Information disorder basically refers to the creation of or the sharing of false information online. राइट तो जब भी हम कोई फॉल्स इंफॉर्मेशन को क्रिएट करते हैं, लेट्स से अभी मैं ये सेशन अटेंड ना करके कोई फेक वीडियो बना दूं, सो आई एम इंडल्जिंग इन information disorder. So when you create or when you share, so let's say I make this video and I share it. I share it with Shanaz ma'am, I share it with Gayatri ma'am, and I request them that I have made this video, please share it, right? And they start sharing. So we are all contributing to this problem called information disorder, right? So when we create or share false information, galat information, galat jankari, jab hum create karte hain ya share karte hain, sometimes with an intention to harm, many a times it is deliberately done, and many a times it can be done innocently. कि गलती से हमें पता नहीं था ये इन्फॉर्मेशन गलत है, राइट? सो हमने गलती से शेयर कर दिया या गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन हमने बता दिया, and we were not sure whether it is false or it is true. So but both of this will come under information disorder regardless of our intention, कि मेरा intention था किसी को harm करने का या intention नहीं था. Okay, so this is information disorder. But what I want to focus more on is this disinformation, because disinformation deliberate होता है, जानबूझ के होता है, गलती से नहीं होता है कि गलती से मैंने rumor फैला दिया कि ओ कल से लॉकडाउन है. And I'm sure you all must be hearing this, right? Every now and then there is some WhatsApp forward these days telling you कल से लॉकडाउन है, परसों से लॉकडाउन है, as if we are waiting for to be caged again. So we are going to be discussing misinformation and disinformation, but largely the second category which I've highlighted, that is disinformation, right? So first let us understand what is misinformation. ये misinformation क्या होता है? Misinformation भी misleading information है, गलत जानकारी है, but it is often shared or created without the intention to manipulate, without the intention to harm somebody. So let's say हमने कोई rumor circulate कर दिया, suddenly there is some rumor that XYZ person को COVID हो गया है, right? या let's say कोई celebrity, कोई old celebrity जो काफी दिनों से old है, ailing है, उनके बारे में कोई rumor आता है that that person is no more. Maybe that is not done intentionally, maybe there was some hearsay or by mistake, people have shared it and there is no intention to harm anybody. That is misinformation. Now, I want to give some examples so that you all find this relatable. So COVID-19 के टाइम पे ऐसे बहुत सारे COVID-19 ये जो पेंडेमिक हम देख रहे हैं लास्ट 2 सालों से, काफी सारे false information, काफी सारा rumors circulate कर रहा है. So much so that जो WHO के चीफ है, उन्होंने ये कहा था that we are not just dealing with the pandemic, we are also dealing with what he called an infodemic. That there is so much of misinformation, there is so much of disinformation which is being circulated. ये खा लेने से कोविड कभी नहीं होगा, vaccine को लेके, I'm sure you know that even today many people have not taken the vaccine, not for health reasons, but am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just wanted to reconfirm. Yeah. So there were rumors related to the vaccine. I very clearly remember last year I was talking to one of my relatives and I asked them, did you take the vaccine? And they told me that किसी ने तो उन्हें ये कहा है कि 2 साल बाद बहुत अच्छी वैक्सीन आने वाली है. So they're willing to wait for 2 years. And unfortunately, they both got COVID positive. Thankfully, they survived. But so there was a lot of rumors related to the vaccine, because of which many people did not want to take the vaccine. There were traditional treatments which were being hailed as a cure to COVID. It's okay to, try something traditionally for prevention, but not when you are ill, when you need to consult a doctor. So many such rumors were being floated around. I'm sure, if you think or if you try and recollect, I'm sure you will also remember a lot of, rumors that you may have come across related to COVID-19 and the pandemic. So now let's look at disinformation. That's what I mentioned in the beginning, that we're going to be focusing a little more on disinformation. Why? Because disinformation related to the deliberate attempts. These are deliberate attempts to confuse the public, deliberate attempts to spread dishonest information and to confuse the public. So this is not innocently done. This is when somebody does it deliberately, right? And there is a very big industry which is trying to do this. It is a very well-funded, well-organized effort, right? ये जो manipulating information या dishonest information जो circulate किया जाता है with an intention to harm. So this is very, very deliberate, and it is a very well-funded exercise, right? Some of you may have heard that during the 2016 US presidential elections, there were many reports कि रशिया ने वहाँ के elections को rig करने की कोशिश की. राइट काफी सारे फेक न्यूज स्टोरीज सर्कुलेट कर रहे थे अबाउट हिलरी क्लिंटन, दैट उन्होंने ये कहा है या ये किया है, राइट, या उनके इस ग्रुप से लिंक्स है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. सो एंड सम ऑफ द सस्पिशंस वर आल्सो सेड टू बी ट्रू, दैट फ्रॉम इन रशिया सम कंपनीज और सम प्लेयर्स वर ट्राइंग टू डू दिस. So it is a very well-funded and it is a very organized effort. It is not being done by people just for hobby. It is a profession for a lot of people. Now, why are we discussing this in the context of social media, right? And that is why it becomes very important for all of us to be aware of this, because social media and these messaging apps, your Facebook Messenger, your WhatsApp in particular, right? This is at the heart of the disinformation problem in India that we are facing. Because, ये जो false information है, ये जो misleading information है, शायद ये इतना, spread नहीं हो पाता अगर social media नहीं होता. Let me say this, अगर आज से 20 years पहले अगर मैं ऐसा session रखना चाहती, I doubt ऐसा session होता. Why? Would we not have been interested in a topic like this? We would have been, I'm sure, but the problem would not have been so big. The problem is so big today because of social media. Because how much time does it take to send a message? Let's say I have a WhatsApp message on my phone and I want to send it to at least 20 people. Okay, at a time you will say, ma'am, आप 5 लोगों को ही forward कर सकते हो. But then again, very quickly in 1 or 2 minutes, I can send it to so many people, right? So social media and these messaging apps have compounded the problem. They have made the problem very, very big and also very difficult to deal with for law enforcement agencies. उनके लिए भी प्रॉब्लम को ट्रैक करना, सॉल्व करना, मैसेज के क्रिएटर तक पहुंच पाना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. So what kind of fake information do you see? What kind of disinformation, misinformation do you see? You will see doctored images, photograph किसी और की है और image में let's say 2 person है, so एक person को हटा के किसी और का image डाल देते हैं. Doctored videos are there. The video, the face of the person remains the same, but they edit the audio. So when the person talks, you feel that, ये person ने ऐसा क्यों कहा, but maybe it's not that person's speech. So these kind of images are widely shared on WhatsApp, on social media platforms. I'm sure in your own WhatsApp groups, your family groups, your friends groups, your housing society groups, you will many a times come across images or come across, some news story which you will feel that, ये सही नहीं लग रहा है. And that is when you need to do something about it. I've taken this image because there are hundreds of examples. So I thought, let me take the ones which are more recent or which you guys can relate, with better. So this, I'm sure you must be hearing this rumor, right? We're all very, very, we're all very obsessed with our celebrities and a lot of news about them. So there is this news story doing the rounds ever since I think Aamir Khan has announced his divorce with his wife, Kiran Rao, that he's set to marry again, right? Or he has got married the 3rd time. So this was a story that was doing the rounds, and no less than a mainstream media channel, right? A bade media channel, that is Z News, they did a story on this. Ki Aamir Khan ki beti unse bahut pareshan hai because he has got married the 3rd time and the daughter is very, very frustrated with the father's, ways of living, etc. So this is the viral image that was being circulated, that you can see that the lady in question, Fatima Sana Sheikh, she is in red attire. She also seems to be having vermilion on her forehead, right? And this is the original image. This was actually done by Alt News, which is a very good fact-checking website. You can go on their platform, frequently or regularly to see what kind of fake news stories or false stories they are, trying to bust. So they found that this image is actually from 2010. ये 11 साल पुराना image है. और ये image किसके wedding का है? I know many of you may not be able to mute. You can write in the chat box. This is an image from the marriage function of, Amir Khan's one of his relative, Imran Khan, and it is his wife, right? Do you see that only the face has been changed? The attire is the same. And in this image, you can even see Amir Khan's wife, because that time he was married to her. So they have taken this part of the image, आधा image लिया है, पीछे जो photographer है वो भी clearly नजर आ रहे हैं. So that is how images are taken. They can be doctored, and it's not very difficult, right? वही technology जो आज हमें help कर रही है, that हम सब अपने घर पे बैठ के ऐसा session attend कर पा रहे हैं, that technology is also being misused to inflict a lot of harm on people. Now maybe you can say that, ma'am, Amir Khan तो बहुत बड़े actor हैं, उन्हें क्या फर्क पड़ता है? True, he is a very big actor, he has a big PR machinery, but we cannot deny that this is false information and it is not done in good taste. Secondly, this is also happening with ordinary individuals, and I'll share some case studies like that, and then you realize that it is not some far off problem. ये सिर्फ दूर किसी आमिर खान का या किसी पॉलिटिशियन का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ये कल को मेरा प्रॉब्लम भी बन सकता है. It can become my problem as well. Okay. Now, when we say social media, and one of the biggest culprit here is WhatsApp, right? हम सबका go to app है. मैं हर दिन जब चेक करती हूँ मेरा डिजिटल वेलबींग रिकॉर्ड, तो मेरा मैक्सिमम टाइम स्पेंड होता है व्हाट्सएप पे, एंड आई थिंक इट वुड बी ट्रू फॉर मेनी ऑफ अस. व्हाट्सएप इज द लार्जेस्ट कैरियर ऑफ फेक न्यूज एंड होक्स इन इंडिया, राइट? दिस इज एज पर स्टडीज. व्हाट्सएप का सबसे बड़ा मार्केट भी इंडिया में है. दे हैव मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ कंज्यूमर्स इन इंडिया, क्लोज टू 400 मिलियन, और व्हाट्सएप ही सबसे बड़ा कैरियर है, व्हीकल है फेक न्यूज और इस तरह के गलत इंफॉर्मेशन, झूठे मिसलीडिंग इंफॉर्मेशन को circulate कराने के लिए. Next comes YouTube, which is also a platform where you will find a lot of fake videos, you will find a lot of controversial content, right? कई content आपको दिखेगा कि motivated है, planted है, politically motivated है, but YouTube को उतना attention नहीं मिलता है जितना WhatsApp को मिलता है, because WhatsApp is also very user friendly, right? YouTube mostly has videos which, if you have a slow internet connection, if you're living somewhere in a small town or in a village, maybe आप पूरा video देख भी नहीं पाओगे. An example here is, from June 2020, when this actor, lost his life, and there were various conspiracy theories floating on the internet. People had almost, solved the case in record time before the Mumbai police or before the authorities could do anything. So that was the speed with which social media pe cases solve ho jate. This is an example that I had mentioned in a previous session also, and I'm referring to this because I feel this is a very, very pertinent example for all of us who are in the education sector, who are as students, as teachers, because this is also happening a lot, targeting organizations, right? And the damage is irreparable, almost irreparable. I hope you all are with me. I hope you all are understanding. We'll take questions at the end, but I hope it's all clear and you're able to understand. Okay, so let's look at this incident from Gujarat, right? So Gujarat में एक वलसाड करके शहर है, where there is a school called RMVM school in Valsad, right? So RMVM school Valsad जो है, ये 2017 से एक बहुत ही unique problem face कर रहे हैं. What is the problem? That internet पे बहुत सारे ऐसे videos circulate करने लगे 2017 से, which started claiming that ये school में बच्चों के साथ child abuse होता है. Children are beaten up mercilessly. They are thrashed by the teachers, they are beaten up, they are abused, and there were videos. So naturally जब हम वीडियो देखते हैं, हम टेंडेंसी होता है बिलीव करने का. वीडियो में दिखाया है कि शैम्पू से मिठाई बना दिया, तो काफी लोग मिठाई खाना छोड़ देते हैं, that oh शैम्पू और chemicals use करके, because people tend to believe what they see, right? So these videos were circulating since 2017. The school faced a lot of issues. School में admissions होने कम हो गए, principal को हर दिन 10-20 calls आने लग गए. Abusive call, threatening calls, some very concerned calls that how come you are allowing all of this to happen in the school. Parents started leaving the school, admissions or drop, right? And of course, as what the school could do, उन्होंने पुलिस में complaint लिखवाई, पुलिस ने भी थोड़ा बहुत investigation किया, but they said that because it is on WhatsApp, they don't know how to deal with it. कहाँ से ये videos आ रहे हैं, कौन upload कर रहा है, it was difficult to solve. Now, what the investigation revealed later on, that not even a single video was from the school or from anywhere in India. Where were these videos from? They were from as countries as far as Syria, Turkey, Egypt. ऐसे ऐसे देशों में किसी ऑर्फनेज में या किसी रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल में जो चाइल्ड अब्यूज के वीडियोस थे, वो वीडियोस लिए गए और उसको इस स्कूल से टैग कर दिया गया, and they were uploaded, they were shared on WhatsApp. It became in the news in the small city, and the school suffered a lot of damage because admissions cancel hone lag gaye, naye admissions hote nahi the, right? The school administration got involved in a host of cases. Teachers started quitting the jobs because nobody wanted to work in such a school. So I have given the link also. If you're interested, you can read the story in greater detail. Now, one may wonder that what is causing this phenomenal growth of false information? क्यों false information इतना spread हो जाता है? क्यों ये इतना बड़ा problem है? One of the reasons for this is that today we are getting our information and news mostly from social media. There was a time जब लोग घर में अखबार पढ़ते थे, न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते थे, राइट? घर में न्यूज़पेपर आता था. हम ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया जिसे हम कहते हैं, रेडियो, ऑल इंडिया रेडियो के लोग बुलेटिन सुनते थे या न्यूज चैनल सुनते थे. Now what is happening is that many of us are getting news and information from the internet. और इंटरनेट पे कोई भी जर्नलिस्ट हो सकता है, इंटरनेट पे कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन गिवर हो सकता है. अगर अभी मैं एक व्हाइट कलर का लैब कोट पहन के बैठ जाऊं and I seemingly look like a, let's say, doctor, I put a stethoscope around my neck, and if I say that ये 4 चीजें खाइए, इससे आपको ओमिक्रॉन वेरिएंट टच भी नहीं कर सकता है. Maybe you may say that, ma'am, who will believe it? But there would be some people who would believe it. If I have good video making skills, video editing skills, maybe a lot of people will watch that video. If I also promote the video, you can promote your own video if you pay a little money and all. So the problem is that social media पे या internet पे जो information givers हैं, many a time they are not credible information givers. उनकी कोई credibility ही नहीं है. अगर मुझे कुछ बीमारी है तो मैं डॉक्टर के पास जाऊंगी, राइट? आई विल नॉट गो टू some friend of mine who's very good with social media. But the problem is that on social media, you have just anyone and everyone who can claim to give you advice, investment advice, medical advice, etc., etc. And generally हमारी tendency क्या होती है? हमें लगता है जो भी लिखा हुआ है, जो भी printed है, वो word शायद true है. You know, WhatsApp पे आया है, YouTube पे मैंने वीडियो देखा है, वीडियो कैसे गलत हो सकता है? We don't realize because, and it's not our fault. You know, not all of us know कि वीडियो को एडिट कर सकते हैं, कैसे कर सकते हैं, राइट? जो लोग करते हैं, they know it very well. But जनरल पब्लिक क्या assume कर लेती है कि ये वीडियो देखा है, I saw this happening, right? So how can it not be true? Or I read it somewhere. So जो लिखा हुआ है, printed word कैसे गलत हो सकता है? Because since childhood there is a lot of primacy of the written word, of the printed word. Now there was this interesting study done by MIT, which is an institute in the US, a very, very reputed institute. They did a study to understand the spread of news online. कि Twitter वगैरह पे news कैसे spread होता है, किस तरह से spread होता है. Now their study found out something very interesting. What they found out that on Twitter, false news travels faster than true news stories. तो Twitter पे जाके अगर मैं कोई सच्ची घटना बताऊंगी, तो वो शायद लोग सुनने में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होंगे, वो रीट्वीट नहीं होगा, वो वायरल नहीं होगा. But if I post a false news story, if I post something which is false, misleading, dramatic, emotional, that will travel very, very fast, and that will travel deeper. वो ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुंचेगा, ज़्यादा लोग उसे देखेंगे. That is how these algorithms work. That is how even human mind works, right? I'm sure you must have seen that जो dramatic है, उस पे बहुत नजर जाता है. There is some dramatic headline. कल से ऑफिसेस बंद, कल से कॉलेजेस बंद, वो सबसे पहले वो स्टोरी हम देखते हैं, राइट? वी डोंट रीड द फाइन प्रिंट कि एग्जैक्टली क्या लिखा है. सो द ओवरटली इमोशनल, द ड्रामेटिक थिंग्स गेट मोर ऑफ आवर अटेंशन. सो ट्विटर पे फॉल्स न्यूज ट्रेवल्स वेरी, वेरी फास्ट. आई लाई रिपीटेड मेनी टाइम्स बिकम्स फेमिलियर. इट्स लाइक कि मैं हर दिन सुबह उठ के आपको एक झूठ बोलूं, 10th डे तक आपको लगेगा कि कुछ तो सच है, तभी मैम डेली बोलती है. डेफिनेटली देयर मस्ट बी सम ग्रेन ऑफ ट्रूथ इन दिस. सो दैट हैपेंस ऑन ट्विटर. That एक ही चीज को, जब आप गलत चीज को भी, जब 1 lakh people start telling you a piece of fact, you start thinking that, at least you start thinking about it, if not believe. Though many people even end up believing that 2 lakh लोग ट्वीट कर रहे हैं, इससे कैसे गलत हो सकता है, right? And that is what is happening on Twitter. False news stories are 70% more likely to be retweeted. तो अभी अगर जाके मैं एक false news story डालती हूँ ट्विटर पे, और लेट्स से गायत्री मैम एक ट्रू न्यूज स्टोरी डालते हैं, पॉसिबिलिटी बहुत हाई है कि रात तक जो ट्रू न्यूज स्टोरी जो मैंने डाला था वो लेट्स से किसी ने नहीं देखा, बट जो फॉल्स न्यूज स्टोरी था, दैट गॉट अ लॉट मोर विजिबिलिटी, दैट गॉट अ लॉट मोर अटेंशन. So why is that happening? That also I told you that many a times false news stories जो है ज़्यादा dramatic होते हैं, ज़्यादा emotional होते हैं, ज़्यादा sensational होते हैं. So naturally people tend to pay more attention. So what can be the solutions? Let's look at that. That what can we do? हम क्या कर सकते हैं इस बारे में? Can we just discuss these things in a seminar or in a workshop, or can we actually do something about it? And that's what I would like to now focus on. So problem क्या है? बहुत बड़ी एक problem ये है कि बहुत सारे लोग आज इंटरनेट पे हैं without knowing very much about the media. This small, ये जो मोबाइल फोन मेरे हाथ में है जिसमें इतने सारे एप्स हैं, अगर मैं एक मीडिया टीचर हूं, बट अगर आप मुझसे भी पूछोगे कि मैम आपके फोन में कितने एप्स हैं, शायद मेरे पास डेफिनेट आंसर नहीं होगा. इफ यू आस्क मी मैम आपके कितने एप्स आपका पर्सनल डेटा एक्सेस करते हैं फोन से, मे बी आई विल से आई विल चेक एंड गेट बैक टू यू. राइट? जैसे हम घर को लॉक करते हैं, हम कितने सारे लॉक लगाते हैं, 2 डोर बनाते हैं. दिस मोबाइल फोन व्हिच हैज अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सेस टू आवर पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन, we are not very well aware of how this new technology works, and that is happening. And so many people, 750 million people supposedly use the internet in India, but digital literacy levels, right? Many countries have started introducing digital literacy as a subject. Italy में उन्होंने स्कूल के सिलेबस में recognizing fake news ये चीज वो पढ़ाने लगे हैं. And many other countries, many other states are following suit. Even in India, states like Kerala, Telangana, वहाँ काफी interesting experiments हो रहे हैं कि हम बच्चों को ये चीज सिखा सके कि कैसे आपको fake news को, false news को, misleading information को spot करना है. Yeah, so digital literacy is very low. So that is one problem. Another problem is, many a times when we discuss a problem, somebody will say, सरकार क्यों कुछ नहीं करती है, law से क्यों, court क्यों कुछ नहीं करते. Now there was an interesting video that I saw. This is from a journalist, Christina Nicholson, and she says in a TED Talk video, it's your fault. See, she says हमारी गलती है, सरकार की, किसी कोर्ट की, किसी जज की कोई गलती नहीं है, ये प्रॉब्लम हमारे वजह से है. क्यों हमारे वजह से है? Because the moment I share something, I like something, I comment on something very good, my friend, मैं thumbs up दिखाती हूँ, without knowing कि वो information सही है या गलत है, I am creating the problem and I am part of the problem. So I cannot just go in a seminar and say, oh, police के लोग कुछ नहीं करते हैं, government कुछ नहीं करती है. We are creating the problem. We cannot blame them. Because the moment when somebody tells me, forward this message to 20 people and you will get 10,000 rupees by tonight, ऐसा कभी नहीं होता. ऐसा fairy tales में शायद होता हो या किसी story book में होता हो. Real life में we have to struggle, we have to do hard work, and that is how it should be. We should be doing hard work. We should not, एक WhatsApp message से मुझे 10,000 रुपए नहीं मिल सकते और ना मिलने चाहिए कभी. Right? So when we share such information, false information that this community is like this, these people are like this, जो लोग vegetarian खाते हैं वो ऐसे होते हैं, जो non खाते हैं वो ऐसे होते हैं, जो vaccine नहीं ले रहे हैं वो ऐसे हैं वैसे हैं. So before knowing the truth, like I said, the lockdown stories, I'm sure every second day WhatsApp पे आपको नए-नए guidelines मिल जाएंगे. महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट इश्यूज न्यू गाइडलाइंस. अगर गवर्नमेंट गाइडलाइन देती है, डेफिनेटली वो न्यूज़पेपर में आएगा, न्यूज चैनल पे आएगा, राइट? और या फिर ऑफिशियल सोर्सेज से वी शुड ट्राई एंड गेट द इंफॉर्मेशन. तो द मोमेंट हम कोई भी गलत इंफॉर्मेशन को या फिर बिना जाने, without knowing, when I share something, when I like something, I am creating the problem. So what kind of behavior should we indulge in more? कैसे हम इस प्रॉब्लम को कम कर सकते हैं? One is we need to talk more about the internet. राइट? हमें इंटरनेट को लेके लिटरेसी बढ़ानी है, हमें डिजिटल लिटरेसी बिल्ड करना है, और इसके लिए कोई हमें बड़े बड़े प्रोफेसर्स की भी जरूरत नहीं है हमसे. Right? बड़े बड़े, I mean to say that it's not that it's a very academic kind of a problem. You guys, you all the lovely and very energetic and charged up NSS volunteers, if you guys take a pledge कि अगली बार मेरे फैमिली के या मेरे हाउसिंग सोसाइटी के या फ्रेंड्स के ग्रुप में अगर कोई ऐसा गलत या मिसलीडिंग या हेट मैसेज डालता है, एटलीस्ट आई विल ट्राई एंड मेक द पर्सन अवेयर कि जो आप कर रहे हो ना उसको पहले चेक करो. Right? Of course, one option is to walk out. One is also to make people aware, because many times लोगों को पता भी नहीं होता है, right? कोई information लोग share करते हैं thinking that they are sharing something new. They don't know it is fake information. It is misleading information. So try doing this, right? Start doing this with your own family. हमारे घर में, हमारे family के groups में, वहाँ पे try to talk about this. Try to talk with your friends about this. So we need to do this. And secondly, do not accept at face value everything that you see on social media. Such nahi. You may tell me that, ma'am, mujhe pata hai. Know that. Very good. You are young, you are alert, but maybe somebody who's 50-year-old in your house, right? And trust me, my experience and my research says that old people are very, very gullible to this. There are many cases when I have seen my in-laws or my parents sending me information which एक दो बार पढ़ के ही आपको लगता है fake information है, right? Because not their fault, by the time उनके life में technology आई, they were already, beyond a certain age. So it's difficult for them to learn new skills, new devices, new technology. So start talking to people who you feel are not that vigilant or not that well equipped to deal with this problem. इस बारे में बात करो. लोगों को ये बताओ कि सोशल मीडिया पे जो भी देखते हैं वो सच नहीं, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो सच हो. तो उसे हम एक सिंपल गूगल सर्च से चेक कर सकते हैं, राइट? फॉलो डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ पीपल एंड पर्सपेक्टिव्स. आजकल इंटरनेट के जमाने में एक टर्म आया है इको चेंबर्स. ये कहा जाता है कि हम सब अपने इको चेंबर्स में रहते हैं. व्हाट इज एन इको चेंबर? सो लेट्स से मेरा एक पर्टिकुलर पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजी है, या लेट्स से मेरी एक पर्टिकुलर वे ऑफ थिंकिंग है, पर्सपेक्टिव है. तो क्या होता है, जब मैं इंटरनेट पे जाती हूँ तो मैं उन्हीं चीजों को पढ़ती हूँ जो मेरे आइडियोलॉजी को रीइंफोर्स करते हैं या मेरे ओपिनियन को सपोर्ट करते हैं. एंड इंटरनेट वर्क ऐसे करता है दैट व्हाट आई सी, इंटरनेट विल शो मी मोर ऑफ दैट. इट्स लाइक, सो इफ आई लेट्स से स्टडी समथिंग ऑन सोशल मीडिया एंड एथिक्स, सो मुझे ऐड भी वैसे ही दिखेंगे कि डू दिस प्रोग्राम ऑन सोशल मीडिया एंड एथिक्स. सो इंटरनेट रीइंफोर्सेस व्हाट आई वांट टू सी. वो उसी चीज को मुझे और ज्यादा दिखाता है, राइट? ऐसा शायद न्यूज़पेपर में नहीं होता है. Let's say I open the newspaper और मुझे पढ़ना है सोशल मीडिया पे कोई खबर, बट न्यूज़पेपर का अपना लॉजिक है. They will give me some news from Punjab, from UP. So diverse लोगों को फॉलो करना जरूरी है. Diverse sources से न्यूज कंज्यूम करना जरूरी है. अगर आप XYZ चैनल को देख रहे हो लास्ट 10 सालों से, मे बी चैनल कुछ कभी चेंज करके भी देखो. So follow different people, talk to people who have a different world view than yours. जनरली हमारे फ्रेंड्स भी हमारे जैसे लाइक माइंडेड होते हैं, बट अगर आपके ग्रुप में कोई भी एक ऐसा पर्सन है जिसका व्यू पॉइंट आपसे थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है, ट्राई टू हैव अ कॉन्वर्सेशन विद दैट पर्सन आल्सो. मे बी दैट पर्सन विल आल्सो लर्न समथिंग फ्रॉम यू एंड यू विल आल्सो लर्न समथिंग फ्रॉम दैट पर्सन. अनदर थिंग दैट वी कैन डू इज यूजिंग गूगल रिवर्स इमेज सर्च, राइट? तो इसका एक वीडियो है. कैन समबडी और शुड वी प्ले इट एट द एंड? Gayatri ma'am, what do you suggest? Yes, should we play it now or should we?
Yes,
yeah, ma'am. As your ma'am.
Okay, no, because the link I will just share it on the chat box. Like I said that. So I'll just post it in the chat box. Maybe we can see it at the end, right? So I'll just explain how Google reverse image works. So कई बार जो ये fake information है या ये disinformation है, ये images के through circulate होता है, right? So you will get some image which will say that this is happening in this country. रशिया में ऐसा होता है या इंडिया के किसी स्टेट में ऐसा होता है. एंड एक इमेज होगी बहुत ही सेंसिटिव या कई बार बहुत ही हॉरिफाइंग इमेज होगी. देयर इज एन एग्जांपल व्हिच जब पुलवामा में अटैक्स हुए 2019 में, टेररिस्ट अटैक हुआ और हमारे सोल्जर्स की अनफॉर्चुनेट डेथ हुई, इवन देन देयर आर मेनी पीपल हु आर शेयरिंग कोई इंटरनेट से इमेज उठा के ऑफ म्यूटिलेटेड बॉडीज, ऑफ डेड बॉडीज, एंड इट वाज इन वेरी वेरी पुअर टेस्ट. सो मच so that the CRPF they came out with a statement and they said that these images which are circulating on social media are not true. Nobody goes near a dead body and clicks an image. So please stop circulating these images of dead bodies, of mutilated bodies, and don't share it with the claim ki Pulwama mein aisa hua. And those images were being circulated deliberately to whip communal passions, to whip some hatred. So ऐसे बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं. तो जब भी कोई इमेज मिलता है उसे हम गूगल पे जाके रिवर्स इमेज सर्च कर सकते हैं. शो यू दैट वीडियो एट द एंड. सो लेट्स से ये जो टिक मार्क का इमेज आपको दिख रहा होगा मेरे पीपीटी में, आई एम श्योर यू ऑल कैन सी दिस. या सो लेट्स से यू वांट टू फाइंड आउट कि मैम ने ये इमेज कैसे लिया है, क्या खुद क्रिएट किया है, कहीं से लिया है. ऑफ कोर्स आई हैव टेकन इट फ्रॉम समवेयर. अगर आप गूगल रिवर्स इमेज सर्च यूज करोगे, आप ये देख सकते हो कि मैंने ये टिक मार्क का इमेज कहाँ से लिया है. Now you may say कि ये tick mark के image से, of course that is not important, but for any inflammatory message, for any सेंसिटिव मैसेज या कोई ऐसा इमेज जिसमें कोई ऐसी स्टोरी जहां आपको कोई ऐसा इमेज दिखाई देता है, you can very well check the source of that image, and that in itself will tell you the truth, right? So we'll do this at the end, this Google reverse image search. Then what kind of behavior we should avoid doing on social media? Abhi humne kaha ki what we should do. So let's look at also what we should not do. One is never encourage such news. सबसे बड़ा जो आप contribution कर सकते हो वो ये है कि कभी भी ऐसे information को circulate मत कीजिए. अगर आपको कोई भी information के बारे में नहीं पता है, if you don't know about it, simply ignore it. In fact, I was telling you about Christiana Nicholson. She had a very good mantra. So she said, if you hate it, ignore it. If you don't know about it, research it. So अगर नहीं पता है तो research कीजिए. If you hate it, अगर कोई image आपने देखा and वो इतना repulsive था that you also felt bad, do not share it with someone. Right? I'll give you an example. Let's say अभी इस session के बाद जाके मैं first time कोई नई चीज बनाती हूँ. Let's say I try and make pizza at home. And let's say वो पिज्जा बहुत ही खराब बनता है, जल जाता है, खराब हो जाता है. Do you think वो पिज्जा मैं पूरे अपनी सोसाइटी में I will go and distribute to everyone that please have this, मैंने पहली बार इतना खराब पिज्जा बनाया, so you must have it? I'll not do that, right? I should not do that. कोई भी खराब चीज हमें शेयर नहीं करनी है. Similar thing for social media. जो भी information मुझे repulsive लगता है, मुझे hate speech लगता है, मुझे inflammatory लगता है, भड़काऊ लगता है कि इसकी वजह से कोई violence हो सकता है, इसकी वजह से दो communities में riots हो सकते हैं, इसकी वजह से XYZ people ABC लोगों से लड़ सकते हैं, तो वैसा information आपको ignore करना है या at least forward नहीं करना है. Also, the more attention we give to such kind of stories or such kind of photographs, we are increasing the problem, right? So the best advice is that to stop this spread of misinformation and disinformation, please think before you share, react or respond. Message मिलते ही forward करना, वो कोई हमारी कोई हमने कोई bond नहीं sign किया कि मुझे WhatsApp पे हर दिन अगर 100 message ना forward करूँ तो मैं I am doing some crime. There is no such pledge we have taken. We are not supposed to forward any information that we are not sure of. So sharing, even reacting, this like, हमें लगता है एक like तो किया मैंने, क्या हो गया? But it is not as simple. Because remember, जब social media पे, let's say something gets 200 likes, तो क्या होता है, social media के algorithm ऐसे काम करते हैं that जो चीज ज़्यादा retweet होती है, या ज़्यादा like होता है, या if it is more commented upon, social media के feed में वो ऊपर दिखता है. Right? So let's say if I log into Twitter right now, so Twitter पे जो stories ज़्यादा retweet हो रहे हैं, that will be shown on the top of my feed. So naturally they will get more attention. So even your innocent, that thumbs up, that like or that comment or that smiley will give more attention to a false news story. So please be very, very wise in using your likes, your smileys, your emojis, because वो भी एक form of expression है on social media. Yeah, so that's all I had to say about the topic in terms of the information that I wanted to share with you. Now, because, like when we discussed this, session, we thought that it would be a good idea to not just end this in a lecture kind of a mode, but also give you some activities so that you can actually test these things on your own, right? So there are two activities that I would request all of you to do, right? And if you can probably, I'll share my email ID. You can share with me also if you want to, or you can share it with your NSS coordinators, teams in your respective colleges. So the first thing I want you to do is, after the session, of course, please look at your mobile phone, right? Please try to find out any one suspect piece of information. कोई भी information, कोई forward, कोई message, कोई image जो आपको last 1 week में या last 10 days में मिला हो, जो आपको लगता है कि suspect है, it is, you are skeptical about it. You feel that ये शायद true नहीं है, या फिर ये शायद किसी गलत intention. Remember, I talked about wrong intentions in disinformation, right? So ये किसी wrong intention से forward किया जा रहा है. Right? So please try and verify it. How to verify it? One way is simply उसे copy करो Google पे, जो search engine है Google, वहां जाओ, उसके बाद में उसको type करो और search करो. आपको search results मिलेंगे. Try and read कि वैसा story किसी और platform ने किया है या नहीं किया है. Many a times these stories have already been busted, have already been verified by some fact-checking portals. फैक्ट चेकिंग पोर्टल्स क्या करते हैं, जो वेरीफाई करते हैं, जो चेक करते हैं कि जो ऐसे वायरल स्टोरीज हैं उनकी क्रॉस चेकिंग करते हैं. सो यू मे ऑलरेडी फाइंड द आंसर ऑन गूगल सर्च, या फिर आपको दिखेगा कि वो स्टोरी एक्चुअल स्टोरी नहीं है, वो कहीं ओल्ड किसी स्टोरी से फोटोग्राफ उठाया गया. रिमेंबर आई गिव यू दैट एग्जांपल ऑफ आमिर खान्स थर्ड मैरिज न्यूज. सो a simple Google search revealed that this was a story done by many mainstream media outlets also, but ये information गलत है, ये 2010 का image है और इसमें थोड़ा Photoshop करके they have played with the image. So a simple Google search will reveal this to you. Another thing which I want you to do is to play this game, right? Yeah, before this, I would want you to see that reverse image search video. So just give me a moment. I will. Yes, so we'll, I think we were discussing the second activity. So I hope you will all, try and do this exercise, try and find out one piece of information which you feel is circumspect, and you can, try and at least check for its veracity using either Google reverse image search. Even if we are not able to play the video, I think I've already posted it in the chat box. So you can, try to do it. It's very simple. It's just like how you use Google, but in a different way. You first upload the image and then you do the search. Right? That's how you do it. The second activity that I want you all to do right now is to play a game, right? So, so this game is called Factitious. It's an interesting game, right? I've given the link here. I'll also post it in the chat box so that you guys can, go to this website and start playing this. So how this game works is that when you start playing this game, there's a tutorial. So you can just briefly read it. It will take hardly 1 or 2 minutes. And then you will see some stories. Okay, and you're supposed to read those stories and then decide for yourself, answer if you feel it is a fake news story or if you feel it is a genuine news story, right? So once you do that, you will get some points, right? Now, what are the points that you should keep in mind? One is try to read the story, full story, right? That will also give you some points. Secondly, look for the kind of, people who are quoted in the story. So let's say there is some news related to Mumbai. And let's say there is a quote of the Mumbai mayor, Kishori Pednekar, or let's say, so the Mumbai mayor's name is there, or let's say, the BMC's commissioner's name is there. So there is some more credibility or authenticity to that story, but because there is someone of authority, jinka naam us story mein aaya hai. So look for things like these. So I'll just post this, link in the chat box.
Allows you to search using an image to find its source or to find similar images. To do this, open Google Chrome on your Android device. Tap Images at the top. Now tap the 3 dots in the top right corner. Select Desktop Site. Tap the camera icon that appears in the search bar. Then tap Upload an image. Tap Choose File. Select Documents. On the left, select Gallery. Now tap the image you want to search. The image will be uploaded and searched. Google will analyze the image and try to figure out what the picture is of using AI technology. In the search results, you may see web pages where this image appears, as well as visually similar images. As you can see, when I search the Tech Boomers logo, both our website and YouTube channel appear in the results. That's all it takes to do a Google reverse image search on Android devices. If you haven't yet, be sure to like the Tech Boomers Facebook page.
Yeah, so that was about Google reverse image search. One second, I'll just start my screen sharing. Yeah, can you all see my screen? So you can even, read more about it.
Yes,
yeah, so you can go here and you can, most of it was shown for mobile. So you can use, so if you type Google reverse image search, you will get a Google web page like this, Google Images. So here what you can do is you can search by an image, right? So it's like the other way around. Like normally हम Google पे जाके हम information के लिए search करते हैं. Here we come to Google with a piece of information and we try and check, where all it has been used. So let's say if I want to search some image here, I'll have to upload an image, right? So I'll have to choose a file. So let's say, let's take this, right? ये cross का image मैंने कहाँ से लिया? Let's say if you want to check this. So it is searching that this image of the cross that I had used in my PPT, where all this image was found, right? So you can see that it is there, right? Maybe there is some website here. So वहाँ पे है, वहाँ से I could have taken. Or let me take some individual's image because that will, right? So let's say here I take, so upload an image and I choose a file and I choose, let's say this file. Yeah, it's already 520. So I think I'll just, yeah, so this I'll not explain in great detail. So you can see where all the images have appeared. So Economic Times mein ye image aaya tha, India Today mein. So you can easily check where all this image appeared before. So that will give you some clue as to, where was this image used earlier. So let's now try and, play the game very quickly. I've already posted the link. I hope you all have got the link on the chat box. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so let's look at this, right? Yeah, so if you see my screen here, I hope you can see my screen, right? It takes you to this website. So first, when you click on this link, you will go to this page that is the pandemic edition of the game. The stories will also be related to you. So then you will start your new game. Before you start your new game, if you want to read about how to play the game, there is a tutorial section here. Okay, I hope you can see. There's a tutorial bar on top right-hand side. Yes. I think I can see the zoom bar. That's why I'm not able to focus on it, but I hope you can see it on the right-hand side. There is a there's a tab, this tutorial.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah. So this tutorial you can click. So it will tell you how to play the game. It's very simple. It's not that you have to read it. You simply can read the stories once you start the game, right? So आपको read करना है article को. Swipe right if you think it's a real story, left if it's a fake news story, and then see how much points you get. Some tips are, like I mentioned earlier, read the whole article. Source भी नीचे दिया रहता है. Try and read that. So I think you can maybe start playing the game so that, we can take some questions if there is some time. So please start playing the game. I will stop my screen sharing now. I hope you have got the link. So we go to the link and you can start playing the game. So read the stories and then maybe after 4 or 5 stories, you can come and discuss what kind of a score you got, or did you learn something about, the stories that you falsely detected as fake news, or did you go wrong or right? So whatever your feedback is, you can share. So, so I would request all the students to please at least spend 5 minutes playing this game. It will sharpen your understanding about how can we spot fake news? How can we spot misleading information and disinformation? If there's any problem with the link, let me know. Otherwise, you guys can start playing the game.
No, ma'am, it's proper.
Okay. .280, okay. 280 is your score, good. Yeah, here more important is, rather than the score, because like I said earlier, it's more than, the score is to understand, what to get, how to get it right. Because I think when you get a story wrong, you also learn a lot, right? Because when I played the game first time, I think most of the stories I could not correctly spot them. So then you also get some tips that how you are supposed to identify them correctly. Okay, 361, that's great. Okay, anything you observed you would want to share beyond the scores? Yes. Okay, somebody said I got to a 48 here. 80%, yeah, great. But more than the scores, you know, like more than the marks, I'm more interested in the learnings. So like I said, when the first time I played this game, I got a lot of things wrong. So then I realized, and one thing which this game taught me is, सबसे पहले story को पूरा पढ़ना चाहिए. Normally tendency क्या होता है, I've read 2 paragraphs, I'll not read. Then you get less points. So ये game आपको encourage करता है. It is the first tip the game gives you, that read the entire story. पूरी story पढ़ोगे, तब आपको थोड़ा idea लगेगा that whether the story is fake, whether it is true or false. One paragraph and the headline will not give you the idea. Okay, 25%. No, that's great. If you're not getting good, which means that, you know, and like I said, that's a starting point, right? So read the full story, read the source. Source mein website ka naam rehta hai. Many a times, you know, what people do when they do fake news, to give you an example, let's say there is the website name ndtv.com, right? Jo ek established media hai. So what they do is, jo fake news banayega, they will make it ndtvs.com. So, you know, there you will be a little suspect कि ये NDTVS कैसे हो गया. So little things, but that help you. The context they provide, yeah. Sometimes because these are all American contexts, so it is difficult to understand because we don't know कि वहाँ ABC news channel है या CBS है, right? So we are not so acquainted with the American media market, but yes, they do share the source and they tell you when you find a fake news story. They tell you that this website specializes. ये website हमेशा fake news stories ही publish करता है. So that kind of information also they'll give you. Okay, anybody else? Any other thing that you noticed? Anything that you felt this, you know, game helped you understand that, okay, this is what I need to pay attention to. Like one thing I said, you need to read the entire story. It is very important to read the entire story. Okay, I think we can take some questions till the time students are playing, and if they want to play more, that's great. Try doing this more. There are some other platforms also where you can play such games, right? This is just one which I thought it was fairly simple, so I thought let me use this. There are others also which I maybe post in the chat box, you know, or maybe I can add in this PPT and share because. So that's all I had to share. Thank you so much for being patient audience. And if there are any questions, if there's anything you would like to ask, any observation you would like to make, please, you know, I would love to hear that. And these are the references. I'll share the PPT also because I've given some references here from wherever I've taken information and for further reading, and I've given some video resources so that if you want to learn more, you can maybe, you know, look at these videos and learn more. So any questions? Anything you would like to ask?
Ma'am, there are some questions that we have received in the registration form.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So the first question is, what can be the aim behind spreading false information?
Okay, now 1 second, yeah. What can be the aim? Okay, now the aims could vary, right? Different people may have different aims, but yes, like I said, it's a very organized effort. See, one is we need to, for that, understand who are the actors doing it. Now, we see a lot of political parties doing this, and not just in India, the world over. Political parties, in fact, there are some statistics that 2019 mein jab India ka general election hua tha, some observers found that almost every political party indulged in fake news tactics. Every political party. So, अगर हम ABC political party की बात कर रहे हैं, तो XYZ political party के person को defame करेंगे. They will do it, and the people who have more money, the party, let's say, which has more money, better funded, they will be able to do it better. I'm sure you must have heard this term IT cells. Political parties these days have IT cells which are very well funded, right? Now, beyond political parties, these are things being done sometimes by, you know, young people. आप लोग वो bully by app के बारे में सुना है? आप लोगों ने जो controversy आ रही है? I hope you guys have heard about it. Who are the people doing it? They are not some criminals, कोई trained criminals नहीं है वो. They are young people, and it's so sad. Remember that incident of Virat Kohli's daughter being given a rape threat? Who was the person doing it? It was a student of IIIT Hyderabad. Such elite, good institutions. And, you know, this is what people are doing. And I think we can't just blame the student. कि ओ student को ये सजा दे दो. Somewhere, I think, as a society, as teachers, as educators, we all have to take that responsibility. As friends, as family, That's why I'm saying that these conversations are very, very important. ये session तो अभी 5:30 के मतलब 5:40 पे खत्म हो जाएगा. But ये जो conversation है, ये हमारे घरों में, हमारे drawing room में होना चाहिए. If you have a younger sibling, guys, or if you have an older sibling, and if you see somebody doing something suspect, please find out. Don't be indifferent, because we are also glued to our screens. मेरा web series miss हो जाएगा, मेरी movie miss हो जाएगी. Have an eye on people close to you, your friends. You feel somebody is going adrift, कोई कुछ आजकल suddenly बहुत भड़काऊ videos भेज रहा है, inflammatory videos भेज रहा है, talk to him or her. What has happened? Right, that this Bully Bhai app, one of the ladies associated with it, she's a girl who lost both her parents to COVID-19. Maybe she required some support at that point of time, who knows. So I think it is a very it's very well entrenched today, from political parties to businesses to young individuals. So many people are doing it with different intentions, of course. Yeah, another question after the session also, I mean, not just from the registration form is fine, but any other question? I'll try and look at the chat box.
We have one more question.
Okay, on the chat box, somebody has written, how can we find out which website which have fish me insights? Okay, yeah. So for getting more information on this, which websites are fake, fake media logos and all, one is you can follow fact-checking portals, right? Fact-checking portals hai, jaise ki Alt News hai, Social Media Hoaxslayer hai. That apart, if you keep reading on this, let's say you create a Google alert for yourself on fake news, you will get some news stories related to this. So if you keep reading regularly on this topic, you will come to know. Sometimes, even your own instinct will tell you. Like, to give you an example, I mean, a few days ago, one of my colleagues shared some news story on his status. And I was a little intrigued that, I knew it was wrong information. So then I asked him and he sent me 4 more articles. So मैंने वो पूरा website को study किया और उस website पे on internet that will help you switch websites, do it more often, etc. Any other question? Okay, I just want to take a minute. I've switched off my camera so that I can read the chat properly. Somebody has shared a very important observation. It's Sophia NSS Neha, that she says that the fake stories grab my attention more through their headlines. That's a very important observation. That's very, very true. The fake news stories are often more dramatic. They're often more sensational. It's like a news story which says Mumbai's temperature is 17 degrees today. Most people would not pay so much of attention. But if there is a headline, tomorrow Mumbai will witness its first snowfall. We'll all read this. Arey, Mumbai mein baraf kaise pad sakti? We know that's not true. Nahi. But wo headline will grab more attention. So they are generally, you are very right. These kind of stories generally have more attention-grabbing headlines, more emotional and more dramatic content. Yes.
Farman Kazi has raised his hand, I think. So
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Please ask a question.
Ma'am, my question was that can you say about deepfakes and how it is dangerous? Deepfakes.
Yeah, deepfakes are very, very dangerous, even more dangerous. I think deepfake is probably, you would know, but for the, deepfake is when you see a video and even the audio, the voice matches, the synchronization is such that even if, let's say, so if that happened during the Delhi Assembly elections, that, we had this politician Manoj Tiwari, उनका एक video आया जिसमें जो original video था, जो original उन्होंने कहा था, उसको change करके there was some other audio that was, put with that video. So, so these kind of things are, very common. I mean, not so common nowadays, but it is probably likely to increase because that is something where it is very difficult to even check. It becomes very, very difficult to even spot ki, is it fake or not? So, we are probably coming to an era where till the time you don't see something, you don't know whether to believe it or not. Because so videos are a category where there is a lot of doctoring, there is a lot of technology being used to do these things. So probably I think for deepfakes, it is very, very difficult, especially for the common person to probably, pay to identify, because it's almost unrecognizable. You can't recognize कि वो audio जो है वो उस person का नहीं है, because it is the synchronization is perfect. So it's difficult, no doubt. So therefore, maybe verifying it through other sources. If some claims are made in such videos, check it with other sources. That's all we can do. Falsifying that video itself is very difficult. Yes. Okay, negative news on social media. Somebody has asked. That's also very common on social media. I think the best thing to do is, like I said, ignore. I think I'll just repeat what Christina Nicholson says, that she says, if you hate it, ignore it. And if you don't know about it, research. Another thing that I would say is, as maybe students, more than ignoring, I think probably you can bring it to the attention of that person. To give you an example, a few months ago, when there were reports of Taliban's capture of Kabul, there was this video which was going viral on social media of women being openly auctioned on the streets of Kabul. I believe some of you may have even seen that video, right? That now this is going to happen to the women of Afghanistan, that they are being openly auctioned on the streets of Kabul. Now, a little fact check revealed that that was a video that was from London. That was a 2014 video. वो एक ग्रुप ने लंदन स्ट्रीट to increase awareness about the war crimes being committed by ISIS. जो ISIS terrorist organization वो इस तरह के crimes commit कर रहा है, तो उस awareness images from that street play was taken, and it was being claimed that this is happening in Kabul. So somebody shared it in a group where I was there. So I had seen the story on the Quint platform. So I posted that this is not a true video. This is the actual story. So maybe you can do this sometimes. आप अपना maybe a target ले लो that हर week में at least एक group में एक message को I will check, and if it's wrong, I will bring it to the notice of the admin. I will bring it to the notice of the person who has shared such a video. So you can try doing that. Any other question? Okay, why media focuses more on celebrities? I think that's beyond the purview of topic. I think that's something, because also that they are read more. That's one reason, right? We are probably not just we, many nations are very, very obsessed with the celebrities or sports persons. So I think it is very obvious, but yes, they get a little bit of disproportionate coverage. जितना वो deserve करते हैं, शायद उससे भी ज़्यादा मिलता है. But somewhere we also read it more, na? So we are also creating the problem. Okay, yeah. Is there a way to ignore? Yeah, that's a good question. That how can we ignore when we have powerful people, we have politicians and others doing it? See, for them, for when politicians and others do it, you have players, you have, fact-checking organizations who are trying to do it. But, the maximum damage is actually being done by people like you and me. Like I said, ये जो बुल्ली भाई ऐप है, किसी politician ने नहीं बनाया है. But maybe ये जो young people थे, ये students थे, ये radicalize हुए over a period of time. Right? So ये radicalization को इस level पे stop किया जा सकता है, जो आपके मेरे level पे. So the moment you see that somebody is sending such messages, if that person is your friend, is your family member, please try to talk to that person. So I think rather than expecting the problem to inflate so much that it grabs media's attention, maybe at our level, if we see some people, or if we can talk about these things with our friends and family who we feel indulge in these activities, probably it would make a difference. Okay, I don't think there are any more questions in the chat box. If there's anything, you can let me know. I think I answered most of the questions that I saw on the chat box. Okay, Sweden has started a new. Okay, no, I think somebody has posted. Somebody, no, I'm not aware of it. So I would, since you mentioned, I would try and check it. Sweden, many of the European countries are actually trying to, deal with it. But like you said, it's a psychological defense agency. So I don't know how much agencies would help. But yes, many nations, what they're trying to do is they're trying to build more education about it. I read somewhere that Norway has made this practice that if I want to share an article, I first have to answer a quiz before I share that article. Why? Because many a times what we do on social media, article ki headline dekhi, thoda dramatic laga, or immediately we start sharing. We read the first paragraph and then we start sharing. So they make it compulsory that you at least read the entire article. Pehle padho, then you share it. Because many a time people don't even read. So, these kind of little things. So before you share, you will have to answer a quiz. So agar aap wo questions right answer kar paate ho, tabhi aap share kar sakte. So what that does is that acts as a deterrent. So the person feels, oh, now I have to answer a quiz also. So maybe that person thinks, okay, I'll not share, maybe. Or at least tries to read the article. So I think, these kind of citizen-centric efforts would have more results, I personally feel, than, creating some organization or maybe some, but this is something that, I think we should all know about since you've written. So Sweden has started, and Sweden is a country which is anyways a little ahead when it comes to a lot of other regulations and all, if you look at their media laws and all. What persuasive strategies make fake news seem to be true? A lot of persuasive strategies. So people who are doing propaganda, they understand the medium pretty well, right? So they understand all your media theories, propaganda theories pretty well. So there are a host of theories which they understand. So, people who are doing this, most of the time you will find that they're very well educated in terms of their technical knowledge is pretty good. So they know how to do it. They know how to amplify the message. And yes, you also have trained minds who are helping to, circulate these kind of messages. Yes. So you have, this has not been done. This is not a problem of the poor so much. This is not being done by people जिन्हें खाने को नहीं मिलता तो वो fake news circulate करते हैं. This is more people like us, the middle class or the upper middle class, educated, trained, techno savvy, media savvy. They are, probably, creating the problem or at least accentuating the problem, if I may say so. And if you're asking specific persuasive strategies, see this video of propaganda techniques. You can go on YouTube and see propaganda techniques, right? They use all the propaganda techniques, name calling, bandwagon, all of that they use. Any other question or anything? Okay, I think there are no more questions. I can't see any more questions in the chat box. I think I've tried to answer most of the questions that I saw on the chat box.
Ma'am, can I continue with vote of thanks?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of the NSS unit of KPB Hinduja College of Commerce, I extend my deepest gratitude to our principal and vice principal, ma'am, for their constant support and encouragement. I would also like to express my heartfelt appreciation to the Honorable Guest of Honor, Ms. Kranti UK, for sparing her valuable time to grace the occasion and motivate the volunteers, as well as my sincere thanks to our esteemed program officers and all the teaching and non-teaching staff from aided NSFC section for their presence and contribution in making this webinar a grand success. Sincere appreciation to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Romani Sain Shatak, for taking out her precious time from her busy schedule and illuminating us with her insight. Today's webinar was loaded with information and fascinating facts. It gave us profound experiences into the subject and furthermore uncovered some amazing realities. I would also like to appreciate the efforts of the technical team for ensuring the event is conducted smoothly. Thank you to all NSS volunteers and participants for being an incredible crowd. I request all participants to fill the feedback form provided in the chat box. Now I request everyone to turn on their cameras to capture this beautiful moment. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you once again. Thank you, Kanti ma'am. Thank you, Gayatri ma'am and Shehnaz ma'am and the entire NSS team and the volunteers. I hope the session was of some use to you. I will also share my email address. If anybody does that exercise, I would be very happy to receive some emails of students telling me that they have, made some effort, because I think that was the whole, that was the whole intention of doing the session, that to make our students really our eyes and ears, in the sense that they will become the people who are going to keep an eye, and they are the people who are going to raise some awareness on this topic. So I'll just share my email address. If any one of you would like to, do this first activity, which I asked you to do, please feel free to share your experiences with me. And the R would be small. I think R capital I have, of course, that would be small, the first, letter in the email. So thank you so much and wish you all, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Romani ma'am, for taking so much efforts for such an
Thank you so much, Romani ma'am, for the wonderful session.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am.